Hey everyone, today we are going over Cascadia. Stay tuned. Video. Why can't I get that? No. I'm gonna redo that. So yes, we are going over Cascadia. This is a game for 1 to 4 players and it is beautiful. So let's get into it. So we have a whole bunch of stuff going on here. We have cards, we have tiles, we have tokens, we have upside down tiles, we have some acorns, and we have this triple token right here. These are our starter habitat tiles. So in this game, you're going to be taking tiles and you're going to be matching it up and trying to match up the land. And you're also going to be trying to match up some of these up here. These cards right here are wildlife scoring cards. So depending on how you're building up your habitat and which animals you're placing on, you're going to be scoring points from these cards at the end of the game. So this is your starter one, like I said. The first player is going to be doing is taking one of these habitat tiles and also taking the corresponding wildlife token. Now, you kind of want to match up your habitat here with the certain tiles. And like I was saying, also try to match up some of these animals that you're placing on here, the wildlife tokens. So let's say for your first turn, we're going to take this tile and this wildlife token here because that's how you have to do it. You have to take it from the matching one. Now we're going to place this and we're going to try to build up our little wetland here. I'm going to place this hawk wildlife token. I'm going to place it right here on top of this keystone tile here. Means that I'm going to take one of these acorn tokens right here. So this is a nature token. So these are 1 point at the end of the game, but you can also use them while you're playing. So instead of taking this tile and that token, you don't want this token, but you want that tile. Using this as a cost to take this tile, but maybe you want this token to place it on top of it, you can also do that. Now, another thing that these nature tokens are really good for is if you don't particularly want any of these wildlife tokens here, you can collect up to 4, as many as you want, 1 to 4 of these and place them in the bag and redraw. Just like that. So that is another good thing with these nature tokens here. So that will help you out throughout the game in case you come to a pickle and you don't have any of these tiles or tokens that you can actually use or want. Now, once you have taken your tile, placed it, and taken your token and placed it, you need to replenish the tile and the wildlife token, just like that for the next player. Now, every player is going to get 20 rounds. So you're going to have 20 tiles at the end of your turn. So when the final habitat tile has been flipped over and the last token, that means that there's one more player that can take a turn. That's the last player. And as soon as they take it, and there are 3 tiles, 3 of the habitat tiles left on the table, that is the end of the game. And then you start to calculate your points. So for every wildlife scoring card, you're going to be randomly choosing 1 out of 5 cards. Now I have 5 cards because we do have the Kickstarter version. In any of the other ones, you would only have 4 cards to choose from. And they are all very similar. They're all bears. These ones are the bears. There's the hawks, and the pink one is the salmon. And of course we have the elk and the fox. So you would choose those randomly and flip them over, and those are going to be the scoring cards for the end. So here is what an end of a game looks like, and here is the scoring pad that we're going to be using. I'll kind of go over a little bit how scoring works with these wildlife scoring cards up here. So first we're going to start off with the bear. The bear, the grizzly bear, is scores per group of bears with no other bears next to it. So I have 2 bears right here, 2 bears right here, and 1 bear right here. So there are no bears around this, so that would be 2 points. There's 2 bears here with no other bears around it, so that would be 5 points. And another 2 right here with no other bears around it, so that would be another 5 points. So you would go ahead and just mark it down right there. So next to score is elk. Unfortunately, I didn't get any elks completed here, but if I did, it would look something like this. If this was, let's just go ahead and put that right on top like this. And if I had the 2 elks on top like that, then that would be 1 pair of a specific location or a specific orientation. as this one right here, it would have to be any of these three here. So that is one pair, so that would score 5 points if I was able to get that done, which I wasn't. But I did get pretty decent in the next one, which is the salmon here. So the salmon, you score for each run of 3, 4, or 5 plus salmons. So the runs may not be adjacent to each other. So I do have 4 right here. So that would score me 12 points. And then we move on to the hawk here. So the hawk one is pretty interesting. It is scores for each direct line of sight between 2 non-adjacent hawks. So this scores 3 points for each line of sight. So this would be here to here is 3 points. Here to here would be 3 points. And then I have one more here and here. So that'd be another 3 points. So that would be 9 points total for this one right here. So that is how those scoring cards work. Then we move on to scoring the habitat tiles, which is just this section right here of the scoring track. So what you're doing and how you're scoring for the habitats are however many tiles you have in a row, you're going to be counting all of those different habitats for each section, and that is going to be your score. So for a 2-player variant, if you have the most tiles out of the 2 players, then you get an extra 2 points added to your score. So how that works, we'll start with the mountains. I have 1, 2, 3 mountains here. These 2 mountains aren't touching. Those 2 mountains are. There's 2 mountains here. So my highest run of mountains would be 3, and it would go right there. Now I do have an okay forest one. So the forest one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which isn't terrible. So then we move on to prairies, which is this yellow color on the tiles. And I only have this section right here, which is 3. And then we can move on to the wetlands, and that is the tiles that look like wetlands, like this right here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles for that. 6. I miscounted there. So there's 6 tiles for that one. And then we go on to the river tiles, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again. And then you count your nature tokens, and then you're gonna go ahead and tally everything up, and whoever has the highest points is the player that wins the game. So that is how you play Cascadia. It is a very quick and very fun game, yet you still have so much thinking to do in this game just to make sure that you get everything right. So this game really reminded me of Calico, this game right here. So I'm gonna kind of compare both of them a little bit. So with Cascadia, you have a little bit more leeway in this game. So on top of not having a board that you're restricted to, you also get 5 cards that you're trying to score points for versus the 3 tiles in the middle of the board. To try to complete those 3 tiles that are on that board, you have 5 of these nature tiles. So yes, a little bit more. So instead of working towards only 3, you're working towards 5. And then not only that, but then you are still trying to get the most tiles in that specific habitat. And then of course with the 2 players, then you get the extra 2 points. So you kind of have a lot more to think about, I think, with Cascadia, but there is a lot more leeway in this game than Calico. So I did really like that. I feel like I almost preferred Cascadia over Calico, just for that fact alone, that there is more leeway. You're kind of free to build up kind of wherever you want with all of your tiles here. You have leeway. You can basically build up wherever you want to, and if something doesn't work, then you can kind of work somewhere else to try to collect these tiles, which is another thing that I really enjoy with this game too, is you have 4 tiles to pick from instead of Calico where you only have 3 tiles. And then these nice little habitat tokens here do come in handy too, because you have to take the combination of the tile and the token, and if they don't really match up and you don't really want to use them, you can mix match them whenever you use some of these nature tokens. And in Calico, you can't. There's 3 tiles and that's what you're picking and that's it. And then also with this, if you don't like any of those wildlife tokens, then you just go ahead and stick those back in the bag and reshuffle and draw new tokens, which is great. It makes it a little bit easier. You have more options and you try to build up. And of course, because of that, this is a higher scoring game. I would say it probably lasts around the same length as Calico. Like it's going to be on the table the same length of time. One you're going to be a little bit more stressed out about than playing. This one, the theme too, like, not that cats aren't relaxing and restful, because they are. All they're doing is laying down on the cloth or the quilt that you're building. But just because of how small the board is, the 3 tiles that you have to pick from, it is I get stressful playing that game. Like, I find it stressful. And the theme on this one, wildlife animals, just cute, colorful. I felt like it wasn't as stressful playing this game than Calico. So those are my comparisons for the 2 games, for Calico and Cascadia. So I did much more enjoy this game. It even comes solo. You can play this one solo. I was looking into it. I haven't played it solo. So you still get your starter habitat tile right here. And you're still using these tiles to build up your habitat, and you still do only get 20 rounds. So I guess the only thing that's different is that you're only drawing the 23 tiles to build up your habitat, instead of drawing like 40 or 80 or however many for however many players that you're playing. And so the only difference is that obviously you don't have an opponent that you are trying to beat, but you're trying to beat your highest score. And I think the highest score for this one goes to 110. And I think it was saying you're like excellent or something. Excellent? No. Ascended. Ascended, elite, excellent, very good. You're getting it. A good start. I got a good start the second game ago. But I beat my highest score and I got 100. I think it was exactly 100 on the dot. I was pretty proud of that. So, and my lowest score was 61. So I guess depending, if you don't get any of these either, right? These nature tokens, if you don't get any of those to get what you want, then you're not, I would say that you're not going to do that well, just because then you're not able to trade them in to get the tiles that you want and the tokens to build up your habitat however you want and however that you can to get the most points whenever you're using these scoring cards right here. And then there is another option for this game too. If you don't want to play with those scoring cards, then you have this card right here. Don't want to glare it. So there is a family variant and then there is an intermediate variant. So instead of scoring each animal kind of differently, these ones you're scoring them exactly the same. So you're going to go and score all wildlife per group of that wildlife type. So however many you have in a row, and then that is what you have. So if you have 3 in a row, then you're going to go ahead and score 9 points. And it's nice because the shape, it shows that they're all 2 touching and 3 touching and in a specific shape, but these cards here show that it says any shape. So you're not restricted to exactly that one, kind of like this elk one here where you are restricted to that exact orientation on that one. So it's nice that they did mention that. So there is that family variant, and then there is the intermediate one, which is, I think, just more points, and it goes, so there's none for 1 size groups. So it goes 2, 3, and then 4. So you're scoring more points, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you can't score on 1 tiles. As for anything negative about the game, I don't think I have anything negative to say. It is a cute, light game for about 30-45 minutes. It doesn't last too long. It's a nice filler game if that's what you're going for. If you're playing any heavier games that night, then this game is a really nice one. Even to end off the game night, really. It's a good game. Nothing negative to say about it, honestly. So if you enjoy lighter games, colorful games, relaxing games, anything with animals in it, then this is probably a game that you might want to look into. So this was Cascadia. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any more videos. I will catch you next time. Wait, what? What is happening? What is happening? I don't understand this.